Here's how you can take people from stranger danger to super fan by simply sharing weird factoids about yourself and building trust. I want you to imagine you're at the grocery store, you're picking out some oranges, you have your eyes on some cucumbers across the way, and a random stranger tells you that they can build a website for you for $4,000. Would you give them $4,000? Probably not. You'd probably get a little skeeved out. You'd probably think, oh, a stranger danger. This is what my parents always warned me about. Next, they're going to tell me they have a van full of puppies and candy. You're not hiring strangers for big jobs. So why are you expecting your clients to do the same? It feels counterintuitive, but when you start a business and you're promoting it online, yes, you need to post about your work, talk about your ideal clients and the results and share testimonials, but you also have to share about yourself. Because otherwise, you get lost in the noise of all the other people who do what you do. How many executive coaches are there out there? How many consultants? How many lawyers? How many email marketers? They all do what you do. So the fact that that's all you're talking about, you're never going to stick out to your ideal clients. You're never going to be memorable. And that's really the crux of it. As small businesses, we do not have a marketing problem. We're not sitting around a boardroom wondering how we're going to spend our $17 million on our commercial for the Super Bowl. Okay, well, maybe you are. I know I'm not. And I know all of my clients are not having that problem. We have a memorability problem. We need to be remembered by the right people at the right time when they're ready to invest in the thing that we help with. I have a client who's a litigation attorney. He's not relevant to everyone all the time. Thank God. If everyone were getting sued and suing other people all the time, I mean, it'd be great for him, but miserable for the rest of us, right? So his social media content has to be memorable. It has to stick out. He has to seem like a friend. He has to seem trustworthy. So when you get sued or think, today feels like a litigious day. I really want to sue someone. And not just sue someone, I want to sue the pants off them. You're going to think, oh, I should call David Fryman, right? Versus, oh shit, legal issues. Who do I know who's a lawyer? Then you can ask a bunch of people, do you know a lawyer who handles this? That's the magic of being memorable, of sharing a little about yourself. You don't have to be super vulnerable online, but you have to share enough so that people feel like they kind of know you. Let's talk through the client journey so that you can really understand how sharing a little about yourself can take people from stranger to super fan. Imagine if you want to draw this along as I describe it, go for it. On a line, there are 5 points. The point all the way to the left is stranger. These are people who have no idea who you are. They've probably never seen your content. If they have seen your content, it didn't catch their attention. And they have no reason to see your face or your name and think, oh my God, I know that person. The whole world starts off this way. You come out of the birth canal. You don't even know your mom. You don't know her name. You don't know your dad's name. Everyone is a stranger when you're born. Throughout our lives, we tend to close that gap. Not a lot. There are a lot of humans, but we tend to make friends, get to know people. Your goal with starting a business is to turn as many of those strangers into people who know you. Our goal is to share content interesting enough to those strangers that they think, oh, I want to see more of this. I'm going to follow this person. So they go from stranger to follower. It could be something funny you shared about your life. It could be something helpful that you shared about the thing that you do. It could be a testimonial. It could be anything. I always like to have my clients just imagine that they're standing on stage and there's an audience of thousands of people in front of them, but no one can see them because there's a canvas blocking them. Their job as the performer, as the person on stage, is to jab their finger through that canvas as many times and create as many holes so that the audience can see them. And one hole is going to be, I don't know anything about sports. Another hole can be, I love dogs. Another hole can be, I've watched West Wing 47 times. I've lost count. This is me on stage. This is all my stuff. I talk about hot dogs and weenies, but I don't actually like hot dogs. I help people start businesses. I have ADHD and I work with people with ADHD. I love cheese. It doesn't have to be super interesting or exciting, just stuff people can read and think, oh, I like cheese too. Cool. Oh, I also am not that interested in sports. Huh. Oh, she's telling people not to be a weenie. Maybe I should follow her. She'll get me to stop being a weenie. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking. We get flipped out when it comes to, creating content for social media. We think that we have to go like skydiving every single week. We have to have like big elaborate trips. No, you don't. If you share how you take your coffee, think of the reaction people have putting a bunch of sugar in their coffee. My teeth starts to hurt. Okay, the amount of sugar just makes me recoil. Even though I'm not drinking their coffee, it's their coffee. My sister, she drinks her coffee black with 3 ice cubes because she doesn't want to wait for it to cool down. So she drinks black, watered down coffee. People have a reaction to that, right? But when you know something like that about someone, it makes you feel like you know them. That's something you would know about a friend. So as we're creating content and sharing it online, sharing parts of ourselves, like I want you to think about, you're poking all these holes in this canvas. You're letting people see you and have more details so they can add it to their little folio of who you are. And eventually that person who has gone from stranger to follower will jump to friend. The funny thing about this friend point is it doesn't have to be an actual friendship. They can feel like they're your friend and you still won. And you're not responsible for becoming friends with thousands online. That would be overwhelming. And your birthday parties would be very expensive. We don't want that for you. I'm starting a nonprofit called the Gay Birthday Club. And it is an organization where we're going to call anyone in the LGBTQ plus community who wants a phone call. They have to sign up for it. It's not like we're just going to randomly call folks on their birthdays, singing happy birthday to them. And this is specifically for folks who have stopped getting a phone call from loved ones, from family members. Because I'm a big believer, everyone deserves bad, cringy singing on their birthday as a show of love. I'm really excited about that. Speaking of birthdays, and there's more to come on this. I will be sharing more. I'm super excited about it. I also am so excited because I actually have some clients, some former clients who are going to be on the board and getting involved. And I just want to share this, A, because it was relevant because I mentioned birthdays, but also B, to point to this is the beauty of being who you are online. This is the beauty of showing up exactly who you are and building trust with people, because you literally attract the clients who are willing to pay you money for the thing that you do, but who become friends, who become super aligned to what you do, who want to get involved in anything that you're up to. It makes your life that much richer. It also makes your power to have impact in the world that much greater. So anyway, back to the client journey and building trust. We have people who've moved from stranger, don't know who you are. They tripped and fell over you. They saw your content. They thought this content's good. I'd like to see more. They became a follower. After seeing more, they felt like, oh my God, this person just told a story. Now I don't really know how to refer to this person because they feel like a friend to me. At some point, these people who are your friends online are going to go to one of two places. Either they are your ideal client and have the problem that you solve. At some point, they're going to see a piece of content that you share that is going to hit them in the gut. And they're going to think, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep struggling with this on my own. Here's someone who I know and trust, who I like, who solves this problem. It could be a legal problem. It could be you don't like doing your taxes on your own. It could be I want to start a business. It could be I want to get in shape, whatever. I need to book a call with them. I trust them. I know them. I feel comfortable with them. That basis of trust is there, and they're willing to have that conversation about giving you money to have your services. Or they're not your client at all, but they feel so connected to you that they jump over the 4th point, which is client, and go to the 5th point, which is super fan. Super fans are people who know you, trust you, like you, understand exactly what you do. They show up to your webinars, even if they're not your ideal clients. They comment on your content, even if the content's not relevant to them, because they want to promote your work, because they believe in what you do. They believe in the help that you offer. And these become some of your best referrers. Squirrel. Yeah, that was a great show. Anyway, back to the point. Squirrel. You're either getting a client or people who want to refer, which is incredible. For those of us with ADHD, we have a lot of weird interests and change interests a lot. So we always have something new to talk about. There's this fear because We get made fun of. Our friends make fun of us because we're constantly jumping from one thing to the other. And it seems like really scattered to them, especially if they don't have ADHD, because people who aren't neurodiverse. And we tend to overthink this with our marketing because we're like, okay, well, I have to have content pillars and I have to like share very specific things about my life. And it has to be part of my quote unquote brand. And no, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be this like perfectly formulated brand image. It has to be you. One of the best compliments you will ever get on a sales call with someone that you've never spoken to before, who's discovered you through social media, is they'll show up to the call, they'll talk to you for a few minutes and say, oh my God, you are exactly how you show up online. You are the person whose content I've been reading. The way you summarize on Instagram or TikTok. It's that click. This is the person I'm going to trust with my money and future. But here's the thing. Trust is two ways. This is really scary to go and be ourselves, our genuine selves on social media. We have to trust that we're going to find the right people out there. We have to trust that there are going to be people who are going to resonate with us. We have to trust them to accept us as we are. Often people shy away from this. People shield themselves from having to trust their audience. One is they become the teacher. They spend a ton of time giving away their knowledge for free, shoving infographics at people, creating slides on Canva and carousels. They just shove knowledge in people's faces. That proves that you know some stuff. But there are a lot of people who know stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean that I trust them with my money. And also, if you're teaching me how to do the thing on my own, why do I need to hire you? You've just given me everything I need to be powerful on my own, right? Even if it's just surface knowledge, it gives them enough confidence to think that they can go and do it on their own. And then they just get themselves into trouble. A recent client was creating a persona on LinkedIn in particular. A persona of someone who is like way grouchier than he actually is. Wonder who I'm talking about, Neil.
I wonder.
And of course, I just want to name, I don't divulge information from my client sessions. Neil has volunteered for this to be featured on this podcast. I do honor confidentiality with my clients, unless they don't want me to. And of course, we see actors doing this. We see personalities doing this. We see a lot of public figures doing this, right? And of course they are. There's protection in that. But as small business owners, we don't necessarily have to go to the same lengths to protect our privacy as Taylor Swift. We're also not in an industry where we have to put on a particular persona like the WWE. A lot of those wrestler guys, they're not going around being the villain or Mr. America or whatever. I don't really watch wrestling, if you can tell. As business owners, we get to just be human beings. We do not need a persona. One of the things about starting a business is learning, you have to learn how to sell your services. It feels so icky, right? We've all been in those buying situations with a salesperson. We do not trust. They're using every pushy, manipulative tactic. We just feel super grossed out by them, right? And oftentimes we don't buy from them. We peace out. Sometimes we're in a situation where we can't peace out. They have something that we genuinely need and we just have to deal with it. I can think back to several purchases I made and investments I made in the beginning of my business with people who I had red flags from the very beginning that I didn't trust them and I overlooked them and I regretted it. Literally had this whole arc in my head and then went off on that one little tangent and I lost it. Those of us with ADHD, one of the most magical situations we can set up for ourselves is where we're surrounded by people who get us. People who get our weird sense of humor, who have some similar interests, who have the same values. We launch ourselves into the stratosphere of our best selves. We become so creative. We have clients where we're not worried if we're good enough for them. We can take chances that oftentimes work out. When you focus on building trust with your audience, showing them enough of yourself that they can think, oh man, I really want to hang out with this person. And actually, I want to invest in working with this person. You're not just getting business. You are attracting your tribe. You're attracting the group of people who will not just make you feel good, but become that rising tide that lifts all boats. This is one of the reasons why, when I have clients who come to me and they're like, I'm a witch. And also I want to do corporate coaching. So I know I need to drop the witchy stuff, completely forget it, hide it, and just go hard with the corporate stuff. No, absolutely not. People can sense when you're hiding something. People can sense when you're not showing up the way you actually are, when you're putting on a front. They may not know what it is, but when you're talking to someone when they're being fake, you know that feeling. There's this creepy crawly feeling under your skin. You're just like, I got to get away from this person. It's not real. You think you're helping your business by hiding the thing that you think makes you weird and not hireable. By hiding it, you're making yourself actually weirder and less comfortable to be around and less trustworthy. You're not giving people who love the witchy side of you access to you. They're out there thinking all these corporate executive coaches, they just don't feel like the right fit for me, for who I am. Versus if you trusted them enough to come out of the broom closet or whatever it is that you call that and be yourself and let them be themselves with you, you'd do incredible work together. We don't have a marketing problem. We have a memorability problem. If you're an overworked, stressed out, overwhelmed HR rep who has to find an executive coach to do some kind of lunch and learn workshop, go through the stack of resumes that are all the same generic leadership development, executive coach language around synergy and other buzzwords, or you're going to think, oh my God, that funny person on LinkedIn or on Instagram who talks about clearing energy and all this stuff, that would be really interesting to bring into the office. That would be entertaining at least. And I know there are a few people who'd really connect with it. The ways you've had to dilute yourself to be able to fit into a corporate environment and be acceptable, and that's made you have an easier time matriculating into school and workplaces and social events, that's not going to serve you in running a business. Blanding yourself out blands your brand out. It makes you harder to remember and harder to hire. And there are enough robots on social media right now sharing generic information about whatever it is that you do. I don't want to be friends with a robot. I don't want to become the client of a robot. I don't want to refer other people to robots. I want to be friends with a person. And I want to work with people I like and refer to people I like. I don't care how weird your interests are. There are people out there who will like you for it. So go and be your glorious, weird, interesting, hopping all over the place ADHD self. It will get you clients. And it will build the trust that you need for those clients to stick around and actually become your tribe.